Well, hey, everybody, this is Heidi St. John. Welcome to the Heidi St. John podcast. Today's episode is a rerun of a very special episode that I recorded when my husband and I were in Kona, Hawaii on our anniversary trip just this last year. And in honor of Valentine's Day, we thought we would air it again. I am currently traveling in Australia right now for the Gospel Reset Tour with my friend Ken Ham and Emil Zwain, bringing the gospel to Australia. My husband is with me and our daughter Sailor. And so we're playing a repeat today, and we hope you guys are going to love it. I think you'll be blessed and encouraged. This is the Heidi St. John podcast. Stick around. I think you're going to be encouraged. Today's podcast is being sponsored in part by my friends at the Functional Medical Institute, and you guys can find out more about them, and I hope you will, by going to homeschoolhealth.com. I hope you guys are going to celebrate love this season, celebrate your marriage, celebrate your spouse. Marriages are worth celebrating and worth pouring into. And when Jay and I had the opportunity to talk a little bit about our 37-year romance, the ups and the downs, the good, the bad, and the ugly, we were able to really, I think, kind of pull the veil back a little bit on our marriage and talk about what we think has really helped us make our love last for these many decades now. And I hope that this interview recorded in Kona is an encouragement to you. Hey, everybody, this is Heidi St. John. Welcome to the Heidi St. John podcast. If you're watching this episode on Rumble or on YouTube, you can see that I am not in my studio. I am here in the beautiful state of Hawaii on Kona with my amazing husband, and we're celebrating 36 years of marriage.
Not long enough.
Not long enough. And today we're going to be answering listener questions about marriage. Thank you guys for submitting those to us. We're super excited to be doing this, and I think you're going to love this episode. This is the Heidi St. John podcast. Stick around. I think you're going to be encouraged. Thank you guys for being here today. Before I get into it with Jay today, I want to say thanks to my friends, Doctors Mark and Michelle Sherwood, because they are the primary reason that we're able to bring this podcast to you. You can check them out at homeschoolhealth.com. That's homeschoolhealth.com. And be sure and use the coupon code Heidi for 20% off your entire purchase. You know that I'm a super fan of the Functional Medical Institute. So I hope you'll check them out, homeschoolhealth.com. I'm going to be traveling the entire month of October. We're starting off with a bang here in Kona. Jay and I are celebrating our 36th anniversary, but right after this, I'll be on the Oregon coast for my women's retreat. Then the weekend after that, I'm going to be at Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills for Tony Perkins's Pray, Vote, Stand. This is an incredible opportunity. I hope you guys will take advantage of it, where we're going to be, you're going to be really introduced to and rubbing shoulders with some of the nation's most amazing thought leaders when it comes to engaging Christians in the political realm. And we're going to teach you how to pray and vote and stand. And it's going to take courage. So I hope you guys will join me for Pray, Vote, Stand. You can register by going to prayvotestand.org or just Google it if I'm wrong. Either way, please come out and say hello. And I'll be all over the place, you guys. I'm going to be in Ohio. I told Jay I'm pretty much going to move to Ohio after that because I'll be speaking like 3 weekends in a row in Ohio. So I hope you guys will check out where I'm going to be by going to HeidiSt.John.com/events. All right, babe, here we are.
Here we are, beautiful Kona.
Beautiful
Hawaii.
Kona. Okay, so Jay is a little bit of a unicorn here at the show. It's really hard for me to get him on here because he doesn't like doing it a whole lot. But I wanted you guys to hear from him. First of all, he's my best friend. And we have been married for a long time, raised 7 children together. We've got one still left in the nest, but she's 15, so she's flapping pretty hard right now. She's dusting her wings.
She's old for her age too.
She's old for her age.
She's doing everything.
Yeah.
She's getting.
Well, she's the youngest of 7. I feel like all of her siblings are, out of the nest and doing the thing, and she's ready to.
And she hangs out with all of them quite a bit, so she's doing.
That's where she is right now.
Things, yeah.
So look at us, we're alone.
I know, it's like
we're alone. We're alone. This is so great. We're enjoying every single solitary second of it. Actually, today when we're done recording, we're going to go to see the volcano, which is erupting right now. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. An actual real lava flow. Listen, your girl watched Mount St. Helens blow in May of 1980. And so I'm a volcano chaser. So we're excited. We're going to go have some good Kona coffee.
Yep.
Going to go look for some sea turtles. Yeah.
Probably not swim today.
No, I think we'll just be looking for volcanoes.
We've just been enjoying just taking it easy and
Yeah, we didn't really
just
have any
enjoying
plans.
the view. Yeah, we didn't.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Because our lives are like planned, I think, to the minute, like almost every day. So this is exciting. Also, I caught a cold right before we came here. Someone who shall remain unnamed gave it to me after promising that she would not do that. So here I am with a cold. Your girl's got a cold. Hopefully we make it all the way through. All right, we have so many questions. Before I jump into the questions, I want to let you guys know that this podcast is rated M for marriage. So if you've got little ones around you or a 7-year-old that you're like, what does that mean? This is your opportunity. This is your warning, fair warning to say, we're going to be talking about marriage. So rated M for marriage, and we're probably not going to be holding any punches back. So, because I kind of figure, we want to answer you guys completely. So that's what we're going to be doing. So this is your chance. I'll give you half a second. We're jumping into it. All right, we're going to jump into it with a question from South Carolina. 33-year-old mother of 3, married in 2020 to an amazing man. She says despite exclusively breastfeeding, she gets her period back right away after birth. And so ovulation is hard to figure out because of that. So she says natural family planning is a challenge, and she has been she's been breastfeeding nonstop since baby number 1 was born 9 months into their marriage. So a honeymoon baby.
Yeah.
So these guys have been busy. This has meant that when I'm not pregnant, we have to use a condom all the time. I would love a little break in the pregnancies, but I'm afraid that the constant condom use is taking some of the fun and pleasure out of sex for my husband. I bought your book about romance, and it's great. Do you have any suggestions for us? Sometimes trying not to get pregnant makes love feel less intimate, but I really need a break from having babies. So that's actually a really good question.
It is a good question.
And by the way, we've gone over these questions in advance, so we've looked at them. Normally I don't do that, but I figured since Jay doesn't really love coming on here, I wouldn't like just surprise. So we've talked about this before, but I think it's worth jumping in and saying, having had 7 babies over the course of 36 years, a friend in South Carolina, I feel you. I understand where you're coming from. And Jay was like, oh my word, we've been here. Mm-hmm. And I remember you had a similar complaint. Jay telling me sex with condoms is a little bit like taking a shower with a raincoat on. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what you said.
I'm pretty sure that is.
Pretty sure. It wasn't our favorite thing in the whole wide world.
No, it's not. But I'll tell you, just the reality, knowing that you can get pregnant, knowing the magic that God has given you to be able to have children is an aphrodisiac. I mean, it really is amazing. That's true. So I understand because we had years of doing the same thing and having the same frustrations.
And me being really tired.
Yep. And that's life, unfortunately. But just the joy of knowing that you can have children and enjoying the children that we have, in those years. I tell young parents all the time, I know it's, you're weary, you're tired, you want a break. I know, but you are investing and you're putting in work for a return that you don't even understand how wonderful and rich that is. But take it from us who now have 6 adult children. And as we watch those adult children live their lives, serve the Lord, follow Him, I tell Heidi all the time I would have sacrificed a whole lot more. I would have if we could have. I don't know if we could have had more children, but it's such a rich blessing. And, all the work and frustration that I know you are feeling right now, it is worth it. So my advice is to focus on that, just the treasure and blessing that you have. Focus on, just encouraging each other, husband and wife. And I know you're frustrated because you feel like you're not getting the full joy out of what you're doing. I'll tell you what, as a man, it's still really wonderful. I didn't really like having to use condoms, but I also know
it's actually all right
it's all right to say it,
and it's all right to take a break. It's all right to say, for this woman to say, I'm just tired of being pregnant and I don't want to be pregnant right now. That's actually okay.
That's totally true.
And we had conversations like that, and Jay was patient with me. And I would just encourage your husband, be patient with your wife. Pregnancy takes a lot out of a woman.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. Breastfeeding too. Lots and lots of times when, and Jay and I had opportunity for intimacy, and I'd just be like, oh my word, if one more person touches me, if one more, especially when you're breastfeeding, it's like, you can't actually have those. I gave those to a little 6-month-old all day long, every several hours. And I just remember the first couple times Jay was like so bewildered by like, but I had him first. I was here first, right? But I think it's a season, and the season will be over. And then you won't be, I can't have any more kids, we can't have babies anymore. And so we don't have to think about that anymore. But there were many, many, many years. Sailor was born when our oldest daughter was 20.
Yeah.
So we did this for a long time, 20 years.
Yeah.
And I would just encourage you, especially your husband, be patient with your wife, and it will pay off.
And there's a lot of creativity you can have in the bedroom as well. So, it's not just, you don't have to just do that. And, but again, I still say, I want to encourage you, what you're doing and the difficulty you're having is very understood, and it is so worth it. It's just, I look at our kids now and I'm like, thank you, God, for these kids.
Yeah.
So it's a treasure. Hang in there.
It's so true.
And love on each other, because I'm assuming that your husband's involved with your parenting and family life and that kind of thing. And, just try to do your best to bless him and be honest about things with him. And I pray and hope he'll be honest and truthful with you, and that you guys can have spaces where you can connect, and just, focus on that richness rather than being frustrated and focusing on the part that you don't like right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And really, you guys, Jay and I say this a lot now. I think we talk about this several times a week, that we just can't believe how fast the time
goes by real fast.
And when our kids were little, like if someone said to me, just enjoy it. Your kids are going to grow by so fast. I was just like, enjoy. Yeah, shut up. It just didn't feel that way, in the moment. And it really will go by fast. And the blessing of raising children is going to far outweigh the frustration that you feel right now, even with this interruption in what feels like sort of an unbridled sex life. This too will pass. And so love each other. And if you'll love each other well during the season that you're in right now, I promise you, it'll pay off in spades. So, so hang in there. Okay. Another question from Wisconsin says, Heidi, thank you for your godly encouragement with homeschooling. You're welcome. You've been helpful over the years. Thank you for pointing us back to Christ. From your experience, how often should we date our spouse? And also, how do we make it a priority when we're in the stage of life where we need to get a babysitter, and my husband works 6 days a week and we're managing family time too?
Wow. Yeah.
Is it taking you back?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, here's the thing. You're going to make time for what you value.
That's exactly right.
And so there were lots of years when Jay and I couldn't afford to go on a date. And so we went on dates at the grocery store. We did. Do you remember that?
I know.
They knew us by name.
The staff knew us by name.
Oh,
you guys are in your date night. Yeah, we are. Just leave us alone. Let us wander on the macaroni.
We're over here just checking out the meat department, and we'd left our oldest kids at home at this point to sort of babysit. So it was like this, can we get our little ones to bed so that they're not giving the older ones too much trouble? And then do we have enough time to maybe swing through a coffee shop, grab a latte, and then wander around the grocery store? And that was date night for us for a long, long time.
I remember some pretty big decisions being made in the cereal aisle.
It's true. None of them were, should we have another baby, though? I don't think those were made in the maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I remember.
I think, you make time for what you value.
That's right.
And we always tell our kids, even, you're going to get out of relationships what you put into them. Yeah. And that is especially true in marriage. And so one of the things that Jay and I did, we tried to at the start of every year, especially because I was homeschooling, which adds a whole different layer, a whole different dynamic. We would actually talk about when we would do that and schedule it in And people say, oh, that takes the spontaneity out of it. So what?
Yeah.
So what? If it takes the spontaneity out of it, so what? If it means it's going to happen, then that I think is more important.
I also think too, I know there's times in my life, I tell my kids this all the time because they'll be lamenting where they are in their life. And I look back at our lives and we have so many different times in our lives that feel like a different world.
Yeah, different
because
seasons.
At that time, we were in a different place doing a different thing. And we legitimately thought this is the rest of our life. We're going to be doing this till we die. And we didn't. We're doing something else.
We're in Kona.
That's right.
Well, by now you guys know that my last year medically was pretty challenging for me. In February, I was diagnosed with a tumor, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, it scared the living daylights out of me. And one of the very first things that I did after calling my husband was reach out to my friends, Dr. Mark and Michelle Sherwood at the Functional Medical Institute. And these guys walked me through from the diagnosis to the surgery to treatment to recovery and did not miss a thing. I praise the Lord for the work these guys are doing. It was their decision to put me on peptides, and those peptide injections and the advice that they gave me, I think, is one of the main reasons why my recovery was such a success. I was back on the road 6 weeks before the doctors anticipated that I would be. And of course, beyond the power of prayer, which you guys know I believe in, I am so thankful for the work of the Functional Medical Institute. So whether you guys are where they are in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or you are somewhere else around the country like I am, I want to commend them to you. Reach out right now by going to homeschoolhealth.com to get connected with the work that Dr. Mark and Michelle Sherwood are doing at the Functional Medical Institute.
So what I would encourage you, be praying about, those concerns that you have. Maybe, God has something else for you, or, maybe your husband has a different job opportunity that's coming on you don't know about yet, or. I just think, be praying about where you're at and ask God to be helping you to get the most out of the stage of life that you're in. Because something else too, I think about, in those different stages. Wow, I wish I would have, not complained, or I wish I wouldn't have missed some of the things that were so good at that time because we moved or we did change jobs or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so be looking for God's good things in where you're at, and try to get all you can out of that and enjoy it and thank him like crazy, and then ask God to guide you like crazy. I think if you're doing that, he will help you, get through what might feel like a dry spell or a discouraging time. And I think he will use it. I mean, I know for us, that's a fact. I look at the things we do now, and I look back in the different stages of life that we were in our past, and how God used those times to teach us and grow us for what he was bringing that we had no idea was coming. And I love that. I mean, now I know, I'm like, God, what's next? We'll do whatever you ask. We're always saying, we'll say yes to whatever you ask us to do. And having that attitude and enjoying and thanking him for the season that we're in and what's going on, I think are important to living a happy, healthy, joy-filled life.
I also think a little practical advice would be you don't need to go out to be on a date. There were lots of times, lots of nights, and I bet you our kids would remember this when, I made them, macaroni and cheese and Franks, and we put on, 6 hours of VHS tapes for them. And we put, set them up in the downstairs, and I would serve, I'd get a couple of steaks and serve Jay and I like a romantic candlelit dinner. And only every once in a while we had to break up fights of the kids downstairs in the basement who were fighting over which movie they were going to watch next, even though we'd already predetermined who was going to watch the movie. It doesn't matter. But the point is we made the effort. You don't need to leave your home. And I would just encourage you, kind of goes back to what we said a minute ago. You make time for what you value. It's the same with sex. It's the same with dating each other. And God has an overflow principle. And this is something Jay and I have been teaching for a really long time because it's true and we've seen it play out in our lives. God is a God of abundance. And so God's principles don't change. So the most important relationship that you will ever nurture in your life is your relationship with the Lord. And it's one of the things I love so much about Jay, and I think you really got this from your mom, watching her spend time every morning with the Lord by herself. We try to spend time with the Lord, just reading his word. You guys know I'm taking you through the Bible this year over at Faith That Speaks. We're trying to read through because it's so important. So what God does out of an overflow, because God's going to convict you. Like, in your quiet time, in your prayer time with the Lord, he's going to prick your heart, and you're going to be like, shoot, I haven't been, there've been lots of times when I will be praying. I mean, fun fact, I've told Jay this, so it's not going to come as a surprise to Jay, but there were lots of times, guys, women, when I literally in my quiet time in the morning with the Lord, even if that quiet time was in the shower or the quiet time was, I was nursing a baby or whatever, there were many, many times over the years when I've literally said, Lord, help me be the wife that Jay needs me to be. Like, I want my want to back. I want to have sex with him. I want to go on a date, but I was just so tired. And when you have that many children for as many years as we had them, the tendency is to start to feel sorry for yourself and push those things to the side and think that your children are should be the primary focus of you while you're raising them, but it just isn't true. The primary relationship is the one that you nurture with the Lord. So make time to spend with the Lord. And out of an overflow, what happens between me and the Lord, I then pour into Jay, and he pours into me. We don't pour into our children first, right? We pour into each other.
That's right.
And out of an overflow then of what happens between the two of us, we pour into our children. And out of an overflow of a healthy home, then we pick up, it's community involvement. It's me being involved in, for the longest time, it was helping you when you were worship pastoring for so many years. I really wanted to be involved in what Jay did. We really, and I think this is maybe part of what the Lord's honored in our marriage. We really wanted to have a shared mission, like something that we were doing together that wasn't always pulling us apart.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that. I think too, when you're talking about just making space in your home, I remember you having an earlier bedtime for the kids.
Yeah, you right. 7 o'clock, man. Right. I was like, the kids are like,
we're not
I'm
tired.
not tired. And I would say, what did I say? Do you remember?
Yeah, you say, well, I'm tired of you.
You right. I'm not tired.
But it was good because
Don't care.
They would have to, and we would say, look, you have to, as they got a little bit older, it's like you have to stay in your room and, you can read, you can do something quietly, but you're going. And honestly,
we weren't doing that when they were 12. Like they weren't going to bed at 7 when they were 12. But when they were like 3, 4, 5, 7 o'clock was bedtime.
And that gave us some space in the evening to have a little time to ourselves.
As the kids got older, though, it doesn't work.
I know,
you can put the little ones down at 7, but the big ones are going to be like, we want to watch a movie. And then you have to roll with it. We wanted our kids to know that the marriage was the primary relationship in the home. And I think they got the message.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think they got the message.
Yeah.
So anyway, just a little practical, make romantic dinner. Sometimes sometimes Jay and I would literally go out and just sit in the car because it was quiet out there. And if we had something to discuss that we didn't want the kids to discuss, always little ears. My goodness.
I know, it's so true.
Always eavesdrop. Always watching Wazowski. Always watching.
How did you hear that?
I know. It makes you nervous. Where we're like, what else did you hear?
That's right.
So anyway, that's terrifying. Just even thinking about that is just terrifying. Let's not think about that. Okay, South Carolina. How do we reconnect physically and emotionally after having a really rough pregnancy and postpartum season? With our first, it was much easier, but the second pregnancy has thrown our marriage and intimacy through a loop on top of some other things and major life changes during the season. I mean, I think it's the same counsel. I mean, we're getting this question obviously a lot. Ask the Lord. I mean, it sounds so trite, women. Listen, I literally said, Lord, would you please make me have a sexual desire for my husband? I asked for that specifically. I asked for it. And then sometimes it's just making the time, making the time for intimacy when you have little kids is very challenging. I remember me telling you a long time ago, like, your girl's not going to be in the mood if the kitchen is a disaster. And so Jay would say, if Jay would come home and be like, listen, honey, tonight's the night,
we're doing the dishes.
Yeah. Jay would be like, well, actually he would say, I'm doing the dishes.
That's right.
Like you want to earn, everyone knows marriage is a point system. And so Jay would I needed some time. I wanted to take a shower. I wanted to feel like somebody wasn't, constantly just always touching. And so Jay, it was paper plate night, right?
That's right.
It was paper plate night, dude, and Jay would give me a little bit of time to run a bath and you would put the kids to bed on that night because knowing that for women, sex takes time, there's the crock pot and microwave thing. Jay be like, I don't care if the kids are crying. I don't care if the house is a mess. I don't care if the toilet's overflowing down into the kitchen.
Can we
I don't
talk
care.
about this later?
Yeah. Can we talk about this later? We'll just get a mop later and we'll mop it up later. Yeah. Yeah. Oops. And so it took us a while to figure that out too. But so men, listen, if you come home from work, and by the way, you're going to come home from work and you have another job at home. Yeah. You got to be present for your wife. So when you come home from work and you're in the mood for love, and you can see that the kids are screaming and the house is a mess and she's had a hard day or whatever, engage with her and see what you can do to help her. And really, you'll be helping you. So help her help you.
That's right.
Right. I mean, I feel like that's kind of important. Do you agree?
I definitely agree.
Yeah. Paper plates for the win.
Paper plates, they're for the win. Yeah. Even just doing leftovers, reheating, whatever's easiest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember putting the kids to bed and okay, go to sleep right now. I got to go.
I gotta go. One night, I remember, I think I actually wrote about this in the Guide to Romance, which, by the way, that book, it was the first book I ever wrote. It's a great story of how I wrote that, and Jay homeschooled the kids for that season while I was writing that book. It took about 3 months to write it. And I wrote in there that I remembered one time in particular when I had finally gotten all the kids to bed at night. And it's 10:30 or whatever at night. And I just wanted the voices in my head to stop talking to me. I'm not kidding. I just wanted to get into bed and wear a burlap bag and read a magazine and just let the voices in my head stop talking to me. And I heard Jay coming down the hall, and I could hear him turning lights off, and I was like, oh no. So I turn off my light and I pretend to be asleep. And he knows I'm faking it. So I was like, hey baby. And I was like, don't talk. And I'm so frustrated. I just start crying. And he looks at me and I'm crying and he goes, can we talk about that later? That happened.
One of my finer moments.
Do you remember it?
I do.
Yeah. We had a lot to learn.
Yep.
About just loving each other.
Yep.
And I think praying, maybe women need to pray that God gives you the want to. And maybe men, you need to pray that God helps you live in a more understanding way with your wife. It's no joke to be home all day with little kids who are tugging at your boobs. It's no joke. I'd like to see you try it.
I know you did great. I think too, things I've learned as as being your husband. I think a lot of what has helped Heidi, and it's always surprised me, is when I would just try to engage, because, I worked full-time jobs and would come home tired and not want to engage at home. And I know how that, plays out in my life. But I also have learned, because I know I want intimacy and connection with her. So I've, obviously learned how do I do that. I have always been surprised at how, if I just engage some with her, how are you feeling? What's going on? How can I help? It ends up, I feel like what she, the encouragement she finds in that is greater than the effort that I have to put in to actually make her happy. So I would just encourage you encourage the husbands, be asking, what can I do to help? How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Little goes a long way.
It goes a long ways. Because I think in her mind, she's drowning and she just wants to know someone cares and someone's got her back and is helping her. And so, my little tip.
I think that's so good. It's actually really important.
Yeah.
It's really important. And women, likewise, when you notice that he's making the effort, respond. It's important. Here's another one, North Carolina. In 2020, our marriage has been so tense, just so much stress. Are we alone in not being able to find our connection in so much chaos? They're in their mid-40s, been married for 20 years. I think this may be a good point to say that the hardest year of our marriage was our 25th year.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think so?
Absolutely.
We had grown kids by this point and still had, a little one, like a, 5-year-old. And lots of changes happening at work. Lots of changes happening with me. Yep. I think, and lots of people asking me to come and speak at events, and we're trying to juggle that and juggle adult children, which, by the way, is a whole other thing.
That's true.
You guys think that your kids are going to grow up and then...
It's all going to get easier?
It's going to get... No.
Just gets different.
Yeah, it's different. It's not easier. And I feel like in some ways, our kids as adults have needed us even more. And it's only you can't really do much. you can listen a lot, but typically when they call, it is an existential crisis, like as opposed to your 15-year-old is giving you lip, or your 5-year-old needs, to be in timeout or whatever. When your 28-year-old calls you and they're having an issue, it's usually an actual real, could be a life-altering thing. And so I think you and I were kind of entering that season with adult children, and you were really frustrated with work. And our kids noticed that we were crabby. Remember that? Mm-hmm. At our anniversary party.
Yeah. Well, they sent us off. They gave us a gift thing for a retreat, which was great. But
we needed it.
Yeah, we definitely needed it. But there was definitely, I'm sure I was the crux of the struggle, because I was really having an identity crisis, because we had changed our ministry, and I just was like, well, what do I do? And trying to figure out how that all was going to work, as Heidi's ministry and speaking and book writing was just taking off like a rocket. So I had to really come to terms with...
Which you never planned on doing.
No, it just came. It was just God was leading in those directions, which I could see and I knew as well, but I just was really wrestling with, well, who am I and what do I do? So I was probably the cause of a lot of it, but either way, we definitely struggled in our relationship.
There was
because
tension.
Of that.
I think more tension than, there was like tension between the two of us, which up until that point, we'd had seasons of tension, not short seasons, not like months of tension. And this was months leading up to our 25th anniversary. And our kids were just like, our two oldest kids especially, they were just like, leave, go away. No one likes to be around you guys. You're grumpy. You're short with each other. And we got away for just a couple of days, I remember, and we cried a lot. Yeah. We cried a lot, and we talked a lot. We had sex a lot. Yeah. I think it was just all the things that we had needed to do, and the tension that broke that weekend between the two of us, and we prayed a lot. Yeah. I think the tension that broke that weekend between the two of us set our marriage, I think, on a different trajectory. That was 11 years ago. Yeah. But I say all that to say, if you guys think that, if we just hit 15 years, it'll be fine. If we just hit 20 years, it'll be fine. If we just hit 25 years, it'll be fine. You have to work on your marriage. Every season, you have to work on it. You have to listen. Yeah. I felt like I needed to listen more to you and hear the struggle that you were having, because your struggle is really my struggle. Yeah. And my struggle is your struggle. We're a team, and we needed that. But when I hear, this person say, we're in our 40s and we married 20 years, why isn't it easier? It's not easier because the enemy wants you to ultimately hate each other, and he's going to pick at you in every way and take every opportunity that he can. And I think as you get older, the stakes get higher, because now you've got children who are really, truly, genuinely watching you, and you're at the jumping off place for grandchildren and for generational legacy and impact. And there's nothing that the enemy wants more than to take that away from you.
And life changes. We talked about that earlier. I think, and that's actually what was causing a lot of struggles for me, was that life was changing so drastically, and I was trying to figure out how it all worked. But as life changes, you change, your family dynamic changes. Life is just a whole lot of changes, and it just
constantly,
it just requires just an open heart to the Lord to let him lead and show you how to, navigate your marriage, your personal life, your career, whatever else is going on. And I, on the plane coming out here, the stewardess, we told her it was our 36th anniversary. And she said, what's the secret? And Heidi said, it's the Lord. It's having the Lord at the center of your relationship. And it's absolutely true. It's just by the grace of God that we're able to get along and have the blessings and the things that we have. It's all the Lord. It's a daily, God, this is I'm living this life for you. I'm laying it all out there, and I'll say yes and do what you ask. And that's everything from, when Heidi wants me to do the dishes and I don't want to do it, to, I don't know what it is for you.
Yeah, for me, it's like, and he's asking me for sex and I don't want to do that.
That's right.
Yeah. It's a constant, marriage is a constant laying down of your life for the other person. Yeah. And the reason why it doesn't work if it's one side is because if Jay's constantly laying down his life for me and I'm not reciprocating in any way, or I'm not saying thank you, or I'm not also saying, what can I do for you? In fact, we were having breakfast the other morning here in Kona, And as we do frequently, I just said, how can I love you better? How can I be a better wife to you? And I felt like you really like having to struggle answering me, which is making me feel pretty good about myself. I'm not going to lie. But so I changed the question and I said, what are some things that I do that make you feel loved? Do you remember what you said?
Well, I know for me, what you think of me is huge.
It's a respect.
If you respect me, I'm feeling good. If I feel like you're not, or if you're frustrated with me, then I'm struggling. I mean, that for sure is a fact. And then I told her, I said, everything behind that is just things that back that up. So if you say you respect me and love me, and then you're demonstrating that by loving me, then I'm happy. And so it all kind of stems from that. So, and I think that's true even biblically. That's why husbands are exhorted to love their wives, wives are exhorted to respect their husbands. And I think that's why. I think it's foundational for a marriage and husband and wife.
I thought interesting too that you said that you love that I cook dinner.
Yeah.
Which I don't do as much as I used to since I work like 50 billion hours a week.
Keeping the house
nice.
Yeah, the house is you. When we were first married, I used to think, what is all this useless girl stuff?
Women. He actually called my homemaking useless girl stuff at one point. Because I was like, what?
All these frou-frou-y things. They weren't
pillows. Jay was like, how many pillows do we actually need on our bed?
Exactly.
I was like, 15. Count them. That's how many we need.
But now that I'm older, and actually for a long time, I've learned to appreciate them and I recognize, because I've been in, guys' homes with their bachelors, and I realize, oh, wow, you're missing a woman's touch in this place. And now I recognize I really do enjoy it. It makes it homey, and I'm thankful for it. And your tastes and how you decorate have changed too. And I think they've improved, frankly, but
wow.
But I told her, I said, those things, how you make our house homey. And honestly, even I told her this too. I mean, how you have homeschooled and poured into our children, and I see the blessing of that. That is just a huge statement of affirmation and love that I feel that I am thankful for from you. Those things mean so much to me as well, because I know it's a sacrifice. I know it's hard. I try to help when I can. And you mentioned earlier when you were writing your book, there was a stint where I was trying to homeschool. It was not pretty.
This was amazing. This was an amazing season of our life.
I mean, I did it, but it was not like you do it.
I can remember coming home, because I would go down to our little office and just write during the day, try to this is my very first book, and I've written, 10 of them since then, and dozens of Bible studies and stuff. So this is my very first foray. Like, how do we write this thing? How do I lay it out? So it took longer than maybe would normally take. And so Jay was like, no problem. I'm going to homeschool kids. Well, I had a workbox system set up, and I set up, so every kid had like a little shoebox with all their stuff in it, really detailed instructions. And when they were done with one thing, they just moved on to the next workbox and blah, 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 blah. Well, I came home from writing the very first day, and Jay met me at the front door with just this look of panic on his face. You remember what you said?
I was like, how did you do this?
He goes, how have you been doing this for 10 years?
Yeah.
And it was funny.
Because I think it's fairly typical for men. We're focused on one thing. And so I would get the kids at the kitchen table. I don't remember how many we were homeschooling, 4 or 5. And I'd have each one of them with their work, and I kind of go from kid to kid working on their work. Well, I remember
It was 5. Mm-hmm.
I remember, helping one of the kids with their math, and this is how you do it, and kind of being into it and describing it. This is how I approach math. This is how I approach this problem. Blah blah. And I'm like, do you understand? Okay, now do the next one. I look up, all the kids are gone except for the one I was talking to. So I'm like, where did they go? Like, I didn't even see them get up and leave. Yeah. So I yell and I get them all back to the table. We go to the next kid, start working, and we're working. I look up, they're all gone again. Like, I can't even keep them focused and on task. So I was like, how did you do this for all these years? So yeah, it was eye-opening for me.
It was an amazing season. I think it was really amazing for both of us because we learned something.
Yeah.
We learned that I actually really liked being at home.
Yeah.
And that's how God had wired me. And Jay really liked focusing on his work, and that's how God had wired him. And it was just a reminder that we can switch roles, but we don't really love it.
Yeah.
and which eventually led to the existential crisis that we had in our 25th anniversary, and obviously, work through that now. And I would say even now, our lives are very, very different. I work essentially full time. You work full time. I'm still homeschooling Sailor, and you're doing math with Sailor because your girl does not like math. Everyone knows Heidi does not like math. So Jay's doing algebra with Sailor this year, but in order for me to do that, that means I have to get up at 6:30 every day and meet Sailor downstairs at 7 a.m. And we start, and Jay makes us coffee or tea at 7 a.m. And we only have one at home now. But in order for us to get that done, we've had to make another big shift. And it's kind of a big deal because we often will work late or I'm traveling or whatever. We still have to get up at 6:30 in the morning so we can start school at 7 so I can be in the studio by 10. And it's a commitment, but we recognize also it's for a season. And I think we didn't realize that when our kids were younger. We didn't realize how quickly the seasons would pass. You guys have, you have a baby for, 6 months, 7 months. And then, even infant, for just a couple of months. And then you have a baby. And then you have a toddler. And then you have a little one. And it really does go by fast. I'm so thankful for you.
Thank you. Well, likewise. I know it doesn't feel like it when you're in the middle of it. You think this is, the rest of my life is with this baby, but it goes by quickly. And then, of course, you've heard this, everyone's heard this from people that have said, don't miss out on all the, the goodness of it. But it's true. Don't miss out. Take pictures, take video. There's so many videos. Yes. I wish we would have taken more videos of Spencer because he used to do so many crazy things.
Or videos of, the videos.
We used to joke about that.
Oh my word!
Spencer, all the silly things he'd say.
Such a cute
all
kid.
Of them. Just look it up, enjoy it.
This person's wondering how to balance time apart with travel. My husband's a first responder. Has gone 90 days on fire since January. Advice on how I don't get lonely because they're empty nesters.
Oh wow!
Oh, that's a tough one.
It's a very tough one.
That's one thing Jay and I don't like is being apart.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, if it was me and I knew that Jay was going to be gone, I would probably, knowing me, I'd get involved in something.
Yep.
I'd be doing something. I'd either take on a project, but I think God creates us to be in community and in relationships. So I'd be looking for something to help out with, something to do.
Yeah, church comes to mind. We
don't sit home feeling sorry for yourself.
Exactly.
Don't do that.
We do a lot of stuff with church. Obviously, our ministry is very busy too. But also, for us, a big thing is family. And so when Heidi's gone, I try to be as involved as I can with our kids. And I'm able to do things when it's just me that, might be harder when Heidi's here because of her, her demands for her life. So, that comes to mind. Mm-hmm. But, boy, that's tough. I've told Heidi many times, I don't know if I can be away from you that long.
Yeah, we don't. We typically, you guys will see this as I'm out on the road. Typically, you go with me. Yeah. But Jay's also a worship pastor at our church, which means he works on Sundays. Yeah. And so often when I'm traveling, I'll go to speak at an event, and it's all the way across the country. So that means I leave on Friday, and I can't get home until Sunday night. Or sometimes I leave on Thursday, and I can't go until Sunday night. And so... again, we've had to wrestle those things through, and you make changes, for each one of those, for each one of the seasons of life that you're in.
Yeah.
All right. Anonymous in Washington got they're having their fourth baby, and she says, they're very excited. And she says her husband's really good at being, hey, the Lord's faithful, is going to provide for everything, but I can't help but panic. All the what ifs. How did you guys navigate this? Moments like this where one person is calm and smooth sailing while the other one's in full panic mode. That's a great question.
It is a good question.
Well, one of the secrets to marriage is that you don't both panic at the same time.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, we've definitely had, especially when we first started out, when I quit working at church, and that was a whole story too of how God just trying to push me out of the boat mostly. I think you were on board with that before I was. But then almost every month after that, our nonprofit was brand new.
We put the in nonprofit, guys.
So we didn't really we had done fundraisers, we had tried all kinds of stuff, and it was just, we really struggled to get enough money to pay the mortgage, get our food on the table and all that stuff. So pretty much every month we fought like crazy. And I remember we were going to a conference we were doing up in Seattle, and this was probably 2006.
I didn't feel like we were fighting. I just felt like there was this constant level of angst and worry. that, especially from me,
Well, it's
being the
scary.
woman, just feeling like I think women genuinely need to feel provided for.
Yeah.
And I was like, where's the money coming from this month? And we just didn't know. And then we were having babies too.
Exactly. The bookkeeper would call and say, hey, I'm really sorry, you guys, but, payday's here and there just isn't enough to pay you,
And the Lord always provided.
And every single month,
I mean, miraculously.
on payday,
Show
the
up.
money would show up and we'd be able to pay our bills.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember driving to Seattle and, we were debating passionately. We weren't fighting. We were debating passionately. Whatever it was.
Never do that.
And I mean, we, the usual thing. I need to get another job. I gotta, we gotta,
Maybe I should go
cut
back
our
to work.
budget. Maybe you should go back to work. Whatever, And I remember just thinking, we did this the last 3 months or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, and every month God's always provided. What if we changed our tactic and just rather than freaking out and being all upset, we just thanked the Lord for how He was going to provide because He called us to what we were doing.
Yep.
And
Game
so
changing. It was game changing.
It was so game changing. And
And that's what we started doing.
Yeah, after that, we just said, what, every time we just start stressing or, being scared because we didn't think we'd have the money to pay for whatever and thinking we're going to lose our house, we're going to lose this, whatever it was, we would just thank you, Lord, for how you're going to provide.
Because it wasn't that we weren't stressed. It was that we channeled the stress into praise. And
Yep.
and it really did help. And I think going back to your question, like how do you handle it when one person's stressed and the other person's in, smooth sailing mode, the other one's in panic mode? I really do think, and I want to just emphasize this, one of the key components to a successful marriage is that you both don't want to quit at the same time. Both of us, Jay and I, have wanted to quit various things. Never wanted to quit our marriage, but have wanted to quit, like whether it's the nonprofit or my speaking or having another baby or whatever it was. And if I wanted to quit, Jay was like, no, look what the Lord's doing. We can't quit. And if he wanted to quit, I was like, no, look what the Lord's doing. We can't quit. Praise the Lord that we both didn't want to quit at the same time.
That's right.
So if your husband is down or your wife is down and they want to quit, encourage them, build them up, love them, ask Lord to show you how you can be a blessing, and then don't quit, because pretty soon the tables will be turned and you're going to want to quit and you're going to need your spouse to encourage you. So I feel like that's a secret.
One little caveat. If you both want to quit at the same time, just lay it before the Lord and let Him, let Him guide you through it. Because I could see how, maybe both of you are exhausted and wanting to quit together. But for the most part, I think in our lives and our experience, it's what we described. If I wanted to quit, she didn't, and if she wanted to quit, I didn't. So
Praise the Lord.
We kind of encourage each other along as
and there
we
were some
go.
pretty low moments. I mean, we've had some really, really low.
Yeah.
We lost a baby to miscarriage. That was a pretty low moment. We lost our house in the 2008 housing market crash. That was a very low moment.
Yeah. But good
We've had
things
some-
happened out
yeah,
of that, though, that
yes.
we, again, at the time didn't realize were good things that God was doing.
Yes.
Also, some of the difficult things I know were with, friends, people that we were close to that
We thought were our
we thought
friends,
were
and then they
friends,
weren't.
yeah. And so those were very devastating things as well. So we've been through, all kinds of different things that were really
Cried
hard.
a lot.
Yeah. Some sickness, health things that we thought were,
This year was rough.
this year was,
This
there
year
were
was
some
rough.
doozies this year. But even in that,
And even in that,
God's
yeah.
taking us through
Praise
it.
the
And
Lord.
I think that, the lesson learned is you just trust the Lord. You lay your life at the Lord's feet. You do what He asks you to do, and you trust Him that He's going to take you through it. And He does.
Yeah, and he does. And you realize that we serve at the pleasure of the King.
That's right.
And when you have that as your foundation, you can get through just about anything. Anonymous in Minnesota, how do you handle the change of sex in your sex drive as you age? 44 in perimenopause, he's 59, so there's a bit of an age difference there. She says, I have no desire and I feel fake. Or like I'm lying if I quote fake it. Fake it anyway. I just think, sometimes, my mom occasionally gave me good advice about marriage. And one of the things that she said to me early on in my marriage was that if I would put out the physical effort to be present with my husband, that the emotions would eventually follow. Sometimes you have to do one without the other. And it's not, because it isn't just about you in marriage, right? It's also about your husband. And conversely, it's like what we were talking about at the beginning. sex drive changes absolutely a thing as you get older. In fact, we were just talking about this, driving somewhere here and where we were. So beautiful here. And I was telling Jay, I'm just so happy that Dr. Mark Sherwood or Michelle put me on hormone replacement therapy. It's been a game changer for me. And your girl's on testosterone, progesterone, and estradiol. I'm taking all 3 of them. And guess what? My night sweats are gone. Poor Jay. It was just like covers on, covers off, covers on, covers off. I was like, and then your sex drive is in the garbage can, and he's frustrated and I'm frustrated. Not really at each other. I don't really feel like you ever really got frustrated at me. I mean, I've had a really hard year physically, certainly. The tumor didn't help. And the stress of that certainly didn't help. And the night sweats didn't help. And the mood swings didn't help. And you've been actually really patient.
Oh, thank you.
Really patient. This has been, I mean, I'm 55 now. And I'm just here to tell you that stuff is gonna, it changes constantly. And you have to meet the challenge. But I'd encourage you, if you're not already doing it, look into bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. Bioidentical is the key. You guys visit homeschoolhealth.com. Like, they're my sponsor, but I use them. These guys are my doctor, and those hormones have made a huge difference for me. Yeah. I remember I asked Dr. Michelle, I was like, will this actually bring my sex drive back? And she said, yes, it will. And she was right. Yep. So,
and I've noticed a change too, both just how you were acting and how you are physically as well.
Yeah.
So it's definitely helped. And I think for men, I mean, I'm getting older. I'm trying to exercise more because I'm realizing, hey, if I don't take care of this body, I'm going to lose it.
It's true. Boy, we feel that way.
And Heidi's been really good too. Heidi's much more in tune with the nutrients and vitamins and supplements and whatever. And she'll often get things for me. And, I recognize that it helps. It absolutely does. I mean, I definitely see that my body's changing as I get older, and I might be struggling or having difficulty with things. And so it's just, it wakens me to realize I got to take care of myself better. I think that's what I have found, is just trying to be more consistent with physical activity and also what I'm ingesting and how I'm taking care of my body. So I think, again, we try to help each other because, like I said, Heidi's just much more in tune with that stuff. And she's got, the Sherwoods at her disposal too, to ask questions and get help from too.
Which we avail ourselves of frequently. So
Exactly.
I would encourage you guys that way. All right, last question that we're going to do on this episode, and then we're going to come back. You guys had so many questions, and I realized we didn't answer all of your questions on sex and on intimacy, but a lot of them were kind of repeat questions. And so I hope that we've covered, and you guys can always reach out to me, HeidiSt.com/fanmail Friday. And I'll continue answering your questions over there. But this will be the last one for this episode. And then we're going to come back and do another episode on questions that are not related to sex and intimacy. Most of the questions were, which makes sense because it's such an important part of marriage. So I've actually really encouraged to see that. So thank you guys for sending those in. Another anonymous in Washington. Why don't more Christian couples talk about sex? This is such a good question. Is there a biblical reason why we shouldn't, or is it just a cultural thing? I believe that so many marriage issues stem from issues related to the marriage bed, and would go so far as to say that a great or even good sex life helps couples work out issues that are not related to sex. You're right. Because if your sex life is off, I feel like everything's kind of off.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that, guys need sex for we get emotionally connected when we've had sex. Mm-hmm. And for women, they're wanting the emotional connection
before the physical.
Yeah. So
why do you think Christians aren't talking about it more?
I think it's a mix of society, church. We don't talk about that stuff. I think there's a lot of struggles. Pornography, lust. A lot of the stuff that society has now gotten so mainstream about, that I think that we're just afraid to talk about it because we might be seen as sexually deviant or something. I don't know, but it definitely is true. And I mean, there are great books out there and there's great information that's out there, but as far as actively, things are routinely being talked about in the Christian sphere, it's not too much. So, but I guess we'll just agree with you. It's very important, and I think it's important to be pursuing it. And I think too, when I talk to husbands who are like, my wife doesn't do whatever, and I'm like, well, I just think as the leader of your home, part of being leader is that you try to figure it out and try to help, find what you can do, find out what your wife needs. And then actually another tip that I find too, I think is true, is that if I get my mind off myself, because usually, I'm feeling what I feel, and so I want it. But if I start trying to help Heidi, get to where she needs to be, then she turns around and blesses me, and I'm taken care of. So I feel like it's good for guys to get creative, find what works with your wife to help her get her emotional needs fulfilled, and in turn, thereby, you will generally get your physical needs fulfilled as well. I mean, again, it's generally true because I know of people that doesn't work, and I don't know why, but there's other issues involved. Get a counselor. Find somebody, find a Christian counselor who will talk and help you through those things. I think is a very wise thing. That could be a pastor, it could be a Christian counselor, but get help because
your marriage is worth it.
It's worth it. Fight for and tell your wife, tell your spouse, if it's the other way around, tell your spouse that you are committed to making this work and you're going to do what it takes to help to solve it. And that I think that speaks volumes to the other person too, because especially if you're making sacrifices for them, they see it either way. Maybe it's what Heidi said earlier, where you don't, as a woman, you don't want sex, but you're willing to give it and do it because you recognize that the guy needs it. He's going to appreciate that. I mean, at some level, he's going to see, hey, you actually do care about me, and how can I help you? But human nature is so complex, and every situation, every marriage and couple is different. So there is no formula to all this stuff. I think the formula is what we keep saying, and that is, laying your lives out before the Lord and asking God to guide you in it. He just, in our experience, He always answers those things, even when they feel or seem like they're impossible to take care of. God can be trusted. God loves you. He loves your marriage. He made sex. He will help you through the things that you are struggling with. And it probably will continue to be a struggle for a while. And that's probably good for us on some level.
Yeah. And I wonder too, as you consider, it's easy for us to point fingers at the other person. Like it's easy for me to say, well, if Jay would just do this or if Jay would just do that. But it's been helpful for me over the years. And I have done that. Certainly. But it's helpful for me to just say, Lord, was there anything I can do that's different? Can you change me? Can you give me, that's why I was saying I prayed, Lord, give me the want to. I want to have sex with my husband. I want to meet his physical needs. I want to, have more desire to experiment or meet his needs so that he longs to come home to me at night. And I can tell you with absolute certainty on this, our 36th anniversary, I feel like sex has gotten better.
Yeah.
Largely because we have so much shared history now. Yeah. And there's so much meaning, so much more meaning, I think, even behind it, that we took the time to connect, that we're patient with each other's aging bodies because we're aging, we're getting older. And certainly, we're getting to the jumping off place at 60, which I guess, we have a lot of friends now in their 70s and 80s, and they're like, you guys are dumb. You're so young. But tell me that at 20 and 30 and 40. I just think you get out of relationships what you put into them. Women, take care of your body. Take care of your body. Pay attention to the hormone highs and lows. Exercise. Drink lots of water. Take care of yourself because you really have one shot at this marriage thing. One shot at, I'm always telling you guys on the show, it's your life, show up for it. It's your marriage, show up for it. It's your sex life, show up for it. And I think God will turn around and bless it as a result. We have so many more questions. And so we're going to take a break and fix ourselves a little lunch. And we're going to come back and we're going to record another episode, which will probably air in a couple of days or maybe on the next Fan Mail Friday. Probably that's how we'll do it. The next episode, we're going to answer, we didn't even I think we got about halfway through. We're going to be talking a couple more questions about sex that I think are different than the ones we've already talked about. Quite a few issues, questions surrounding pornography, which you just alluded to. So we'll jump more into that on this next episode. And in the meantime, Jay St. John, you're my national treasure. I always tell people they're a national treasure, but you are my national treasure.
You are my hottie, so.
Oh my. Anyway, so just thank you for doing this.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. I think I was telling Jay this morning that I think he has so much wisdom and so much to offer. because for 36 years, he's been such a wonderful husband. And I think that comes from a lot of asking the Lord and laying down your life and loving me like Jesus would have you love me. And it's just a joy to be married to you.
Well, thank you. Back at you.
All right, you guys, I hope that's been encouraging for you. I'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to me by going to HeidiSt.John.com/Fan Mail Friday. That's HeidiSt.John.com/Fan Mail Friday. If you're interested in bringing me to your event to speak, you'll find that is a page dedicated on my website. And also, you guys, my goodness, we finally got all of the Bible studies that I have written over the years, both personally and with my team at Faith That Speaks. So those Bible studies are available for you to download right now. And you can go to HeidiSt.John.com, just click on the store, and you will see probably about 30 Bible studies that are wonderful for group, your Bible studies for personal study, and you can download those. Again, we just got them up there, and I'm really excited. 8 years of Bible studies, and they're available now for you to purchase over at the store as e-download. So I hope you guys will check that out at HeidiSt.John.com. We love you guys. Thank you for listening. Love your people well today, and it's your marriage. Show up for it. I'll see you right back here again at the intersection of faith and culture.